little bit more than just reading the job description.
Sounds good.
All right, so let me share my screen. Okay, so jumping straight into it. So thanks everyone for joining. We are discussing WAND Rec 13443167, and it's for the generic title Electrical Engineer 3, but the more thorough title, a Substation Design Electrical Engineer 3. Jared's going to be the manager here running the show, but once someone is identified, it looks like Ryan Smith will be the official supervisor.
Yep.
For quick logistics, Jared, I'm going to quickly just ask you some very quick hitter questions, and then we'll kind of open it up for you to describe just high level what type of candidates you're looking for, and then open it up to questions from the agencies. So first questions I have, Jared, is just for logistics. I see you listed 12/6 as the start date here. Is that just related to the project they're going to support, or, let's say we identify someone a little bit sooner than that, would they be able to start earlier?
I think they can. This is a project that we are anticipating getting with a new client, I guess.
Okay.
Part of this work would be getting them trained up, ready to go, because I don't think that the actual project work would start until January for that client. But we have needs all across the country that we could fulfill for the time being. So yes, they could probably start earlier.
Gotcha. Okay.
We've actually done that with somebody else already. So
okay, gotcha. And then just flip side here for the estimated end date of 6/6. So I know most of the roles on the power team start off at 6 months. Is there a chance for this one as well for either extension as a contractor or conversion to a full-time employee?
Yes, and the idea is we would prefer to do a direct hire afterward. But we understand that some people want just a contract. They don't care about benefits. They'd rather get the pay. So that is an option as well. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect. And then last logistic question is just the location. So is the client located physically in Denver, and will they need to be on site, or is this a role that they'll be supporting Denver, but they can be just anywhere virtually in the US?
Ideally, the client's a pretty large client. It is all over, probably in that mountainous area. But ideally, we would want local to Colorado, especially by Denver, so that they can go into the office. But if we have a good candidate that would be virtually, that's an option. Yes.
Okay, so option. So do you want the suppliers to start off, maybe the first couple of weeks here, just focusing on people in Denver proper, or at least commutable distance, and then open it up, or you just want candidates, you'll kind of read the resumes as they come in?
I think because this start date isn't until later, I would rather start with local to Denver for the time. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so then next is just, can you kind of do a high level overview of just, the day-to-day you expect for this substation design engineer, and really, the key responsibilities that they'll have?
Absolutely. So the biggest thing with this is, like the name, substation design. We want someone with experience with substation design, high voltage substation design. Preferably, and what it should be is at least 3 years of that experience. Primarily, the work that they're going to be doing is PNC design. Okay, so we already have someone that is lined up to be doing the physical install, but we're going to need someone that can be on the PNC side. If they have physical install design experience as well, great. We'll look at that, but we need them definitely to have PNC design experience, and they're going to be doing design. So what I mean by that is calculations, substation prints, possibly QA/QC if they have that experience or they're at that point. We can get them into it. That'd be great. That's a plus, right? Obviously, good communicator, but they're going to be working on design. Working on substation prints, schematics, wiring, 3 lines, 1 lines, SCADA, anything to do with the PNC, panel front views, cable charts, whatever that we have to do with that AC/DC diagrams, that kind of thing. So yes, it is all design. This is a technical role. It's not necessarily a leadership role where they're going to be managing multiple projects, multiple people. This is a design role.
Okay. Okay, cool. That definitely helps here. And then just kind of back to the logistics piece, it sounds like they will only be supporting just one client and not working on multiple projects, or do you see down the line possibly?
It's possible, but the expectation with this new client coming in is we're going to be getting a lot of work. Now, if for some reason that doesn't happen and we hire them in early, we'll find a different client for them to work on, and it might be multiple different clients throughout. But the way we became very successful at Black and Beach is, people really learn a client. Every client has different standards. That's what we notice. If you jump around too much, you forget what they want on their standards, and you're a little less efficient. So we do try to keep people somewhat on their clients for this global transmission, and you'll probably see global transmission name in here. I don't want you to think that is like transmission line, because that's why we specifically call it out as substation design. That's just the way Black and Beach calls their substation group and their high voltage group. Substation design, transmission line design is all lumped into this global transmission. Even though it's located in the United States, we're looking at, and projects in the United States, we still have a global presence, which is why it's global transmission.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And then a couple more questions, then I'll just open it up to the agencies here. So you're mentioning this is, mostly just a design role. With the different stakeholders and the client they're going to be supporting, do you foresee any need for them to kind of diving into the communication piece a little bit, but will they ever need to do any like formal presentations to the client, or for the most part, they're individual contributors just doing their thing designing?
I wouldn't say it's an absolute no, they won't. It's possible they're going to communicate with the client. I'm assuming it depends on the person in a way. It depends on how the client wants it. Sometimes our clients just want to deal with one specific person, and that's going to be the PM or EM, right? We have other clients that they'll be okay talking to the project team itself and get down to even level 2s and 3 or level 1 engineers, just small communication back and forth. So I guess it depends on the client. It's a possibility. Presentation wise, maybe. I mean, I don't really foresee that, but it could happen.
Okay, great. And then jumping into skills. So I know you listed kind of, the ideal candidate a little bit here, but just harping back to the typical question, what's kind of the top 2 or 3 skills when you're looking at resumes that you're looking for this type of role? And kind of a follow-up with that is just any specific system experience that they're going to have to be using supporting this client.
So some things I would like to see is, obviously we talked about substation design, high voltage substation design, PNC experience. I started seeing that. They've been working there for 3 years, 4 years, whatever, doing that design. Schematics, wiring, 3 lines, 1 lines. I'm a happy camper. I'm going to be looking at that resume. Some of the, obviously, communication. We have a lot of people that work virtually, and I know that this client's going to be supported by people working virtually, and possibly this candidate could be a virtual client. So communication is an absolute key. It's a necessity, right? Whether it's verbal or written, right? And so we definitely need that. One of the skills that we do want to see is if they have experience, if they are going to be virtual, even if they're not, and we never know what's going to happen with COVID. We've been opening offices, closing them back, opening them, so you never know when that's going to happen again. So I would say if they have experience in Bluebeam and doing markups in Bluebeam, that is a huge benefit and plus, because that is one thing our company does use for their markups. In case you don't know what Bluebeam is, I kind of say it's like a PDF viewer, but it's or like an editor really, but it's it's different, but it's basically taking a PDF and doing all your markups, highlight, all your other markups on it. It's just a stronger version of Adobe. Okay. Other skills, if they, obviously the communication, if they have grounding experience, that's a bonus, because if they've used WinIGS or CDEGS, 2 programs there, that's definitely a bonus as well, because maybe we can get them to help out with some grounding analysis. Any kind of like calculations they've done, AC calculations, DC calculations, voltage drop, lighting. So those are 2 different ones. Conduit fill calcs. Those are all bonuses of if they're level 3, they should have some of those at least, I would think. Yeah.
Okay, so the last ones you just mentioned here, those are all just pluses. It's not necessarily preferred experience listed, but it would make them stand out a little bit more.
Especially especially like the grounding. Not everybody is taking the gotten their certification or even had the training in the grounding. That's a different animal. So that one for sure. But if they're level 3 and they've been doing high voltage substation design, I would think they should have been doing some kind of calculations like an AC load calc, a DC load calc, a voltage drop in some way. So they should have some of those in there. Maybe not all of them, but they should have some, a lightning calc potentially. So I'd like to see that. But is it a necessity? No, as long as they're doing the design. The design is a necessity.
Okay, perfect. No, thank you for all that. So suppliers, I know I kind of bogarted the conversation here, but now if you have any questions you want to drill in with Jared a little bit more closer here, now's the time to ask. So feel free to take yourself off mute if you have any questions.
Hi, Jared. This is Keely from Equity. I have a couple questions. So it's high voltage substation experience is a must. So what kind of
Can you speak it into the mic? I can't.
Yeah, same here. Can you speak a little bit closer into the mic, please?
Yeah, that's okay. I was just asking, as far as high voltage goes, what kV are you looking for specifically for high voltage?
So that could be anywhere. I mean, typical high voltage. I mean, if they have experience in 69 kV and up, that'd be something nice. Yeah, I mean that's what we're looking for.
Okay, perfect. And then as far as degree-wise, you're looking for electrical engineering degrees only, correct?
Yes, electrical engineering degree. Yep. And to be honest, if we can get someone that has taken their FE and passed it and they're an EIT, that's a bonus. They should be getting close to getting their PE at that point. So in 6 months from there, if they want to hire on direct, I mean, we can hire, if they have their PE, we can get them in as a engineer 4, and that'd be ideal. So getting that EIT is also a bonus, not a necessity, but a bonus. Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Hello, hi, am I talking to Vimala? Hi, Vimala, this is Jyoti from SI People. I called you regarding the, IT recruiter role with one.
Okay, sorry. Hearing a lot of background noise, but does anybody else have any questions? And just double check if you are on mute and unmute yourself if you do.
Or raise your hand, I guess, either way.
Yes, we could we could do that as well.
Hi, Zach. I'm sorry, Jared as well. I was just wondering about the team dynamic, such as how many people are on this team, and what kind of their positions as well. I know you said some of them are remote.
There are going to be remote. We are still determining, because we're still in this proposal phase right now. But the team dynamic is going to be anywhere from, we're going to be having entry level all the way up to level 5, 6, electrical engineers. We'll have a PM, which would be, obviously, could be electrical, could be civil, whatever. They will be spread out throughout the company, but the main team will be out in Denver. That's kind of the idea. We have a nice little, like we have in there, Ryan Smith. He's the local leader out in Denver. He will be kind of running it, but they have, was about 50, 60 electrical engineers in their building, I believe. Like I said, anywhere from entry level up, and you can even have interns, but it's going to be a mesh of staff. The way we're going now anyway with Black Beach is more, we're going to be sharing resources from all across the company. I mean, we have people working from Florida and Texas, and they're doing work in Ann Arbor, right, for our local clients. So the team dynamic, the way we do things now, it's a little bit different than getting together and going for drinks after work, at the bar, right? It's going to be a virtual kind of drink and a team meshing at that point, all virtually. That's just the new era that we're in now, and we're kind of diving into. So, and like I said, we don't have exactly the entire team figured out, but it's looking like it's going to be fairly large.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. And my other question was about the interview process. I was wondering if you would be conducting the interviews, and if so, how many interviews are you doing, such as are you doing a phone screening and then in-person interview, anything like that?
What we've been doing is I'll probably be part of it. Yep, Ryan will probably be part of it. And if I'm not, Ryan will be. We usually have maybe 2, 3 at the most people, and the interviews would run anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour. And it's just usually the one interview. If for some reason we don't get everything we wanted out of it, and we wanted to maybe talk a little bit more, that could be a very personal call. Just, hey, we had a few more questions, things of that nature. But generally, it's one interview and kind of, give the offer or decline on them.
Awesome.
Right. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Stephanie. Ashley?
Hi, thanks so much, Jared, for all the insight. So question along the lines of the level of experience. Obviously, we're looking for around 3 years, but if we did find somebody who recently got their PE and might be closer to a level 4, would you still entertain them for this position? And then if you would at this point, is there any flexibility on the rate if they do have, say, a little bit more experience?
Yes, I would say. And if they have the PE, we could maybe change it up and bring them in as a level 4 at that point. So there is some flexibility, I would say. We can deal with that when the time comes. And we've even had instances where maybe they have a lot of experience, they don't have their PE, and we've brought them in as an ENS at that point. So we can change the role around a little bit. We just have to open a new rec and shift that resume over. We've done that before. So, yeah, if you find someone with 5, 6, 7 years of experience, hey, I'll entertain it. Okay. And sorry to play devil's advocate a little bit on this. Since the project isn't officially approved yet per se, heaven forbid, say that project doesn't work out, would you still intend to bring this resource on and potentially help with other projects? That would be the intent, yes. Okay, thank you.
Hey, this is Stephanie from ASAP again. I just had one question. I know you'd mentioned that they do need a bachelor's degree. Is that necessary, or if they have a lot of experience, could that be in place of the education?
For an electrical engineer role, we would want that bachelor degree, but again, we can make changes to it. So this particular electrical engineer 3 role, yes, would have that. But if you have someone that somebody that has a lot of experience without an engineering degree, and we've seen like a tech degree maybe, and they've gotten into the world of physical or PNC design, okay, we can change it up and maybe open up an ENS and just slide them over to that instead. So if they fill that role, we can close this one out.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Hi, this is English from Russell Chauvin.
Yep.
My question is, how much possibility for remote, or you need some only local candidate for this one?
We touched that in the beginning. Sorry, Jared, I'll jump in here. We touched that in the beginning. At first, let's focus on Denver. But if we're not seeing candidates in the first few weeks or so, we might open it up to just virtual. But for now, let's focus on Denver.
Okay, thank you. Actually, I joined a little bit later.
That explains it. All right, I did only reserve 20 minutes here. Any last questions for Jared before we sign off? Nope. Cool. All right. Jared, any last thoughts you want to share with the suppliers, or you think we covered quite a bit and you're just anxious to see candidates now?
I just want to thank you for the time. I mean, I know this is you're busy. You have a lot going on. This is a crazy industry right now. So thank you for taking the time to listen to what I have to say. And Zach, thanks for setting this up.
Yeah.
And if you have questions, obviously reach out. We definitely appreciate you looking for this to fill this need because, we're having a hard time doing it as well. So we appreciate it, all the work you've been doing.
Perfect. Yep. Thank you, Jared. And yeah, again, reiterating that, shoot me an email if you guys think of something as soon as we hang up here, and I'll just quickly Teams message Jared to get you guys an answer. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Happy searching, and have a good rest of the day.
Bye. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.